Hey, sixth graders, and welcome to lesson 4 here in chapter 3, which is on multiplying decimals. Okay, today you're going to learn how to multiply decimals by whole numbers and also multiply decimals by other decimals. Okay, so take a look here at example 1, and let's get started. It says something that weighs 1 pound on Earth weighs 0.17 pounds on the moon. How much would a 4 pound dumbbell weigh on the moon? Okay. Well, the first little reminder that we get here is that you could think of multiplication by a whole number as repeated addition. Okay. Anytime we're dealing with multiplication is just repeated addition. So when it gives us the problem 4 times 0.17, essentially that means 0.17 added 4 times. Okay, so if we were to do that, we just added and subtracted decimals last section. We know how to do this. We bring our decimals straight down, right? And 7 plus 7 plus 7 plus 7 would give us 28. So I'd put down my 8 and carry my 2. And I have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And zeros added together would give me zeros. So I'd get 0.68 for my answer. Okay, so really, that is one way to do multiplication, is just remember that it's the same as repeated addition. But that's not always going to be the most helpful and not always the quickest either. So let's take a look at that same problem. And instead, this time, let's actually see what process do you need to follow in order to multiply them. Okay, it says you can multiply as you would with whole numbers. So right away, you just pretend you have 17 times 4. Okay, you don't even need to worry about the decimals. That's what's kind of cool about multiplying decimals, is you don't have to worry about them until the end of your problem. Okay, so it says place the decimal point by adding the number of decimal places in the numbers multiplied. All right, so in this first number, how many decimal places do I have? Well, I have 1, 2. I have 2 numbers after the decimal point to give me a total, of 2 decimal places. In my second number, I don't have any decimal places. It's just a whole number. So if I take 2 plus 0, that would give me, in the end, I need to have 2 decimal places in my final answer. Okay, well, let's multiply these like we would with whole numbers. So that would just be 7 times 4 is 28. Carry my 2. And 4 times 1 is 4, plus 2 is 6. Okay, and then I need to have 2 decimal places in my answer. So there would be my decimal, 0.68. The same thing I got as when I added 1.17 4 times. Okay, I have 2 numbers after the decimal point. So a 4-pound dumbbell on Earth weighs 0.68 pounds on the moon. Wow, you'd be able to lift a lot on the moon, more than you normally would. Okay, go ahead and flip your paper over, and let's look at what the second example is all about. Okay, it says find each product for letter A, 0.3 times 0.4. All right, so remember, just multiply. This is essentially like taking 3 times 4, which you guys all know is 12. Okay, 3 times 4 is 12. Put down the 1, carry the 1, 0. You could do it the old-fashioned way if you want, but think about it as multiplying the whole numbers. 3 times 4 is 12. And then in the end, think about your decimal points. Well, this number has 1 number after the decimal place, or decimal point, and this number has 1 after the decimal point, for a total of 2 decimal places we have to move in the end. So start on the right, 1, 2, and place your decimal. So 0.12 or 0.12, same thing, is your final answer. Okay, let's scroll down and try letter B as well. That says 0.07 times 0.8. Okay. Well, for this one, it says estimate the product 0.8. So this number is close to 1. So if we were to take this and multiply it by, we're estimating this to be 1, we would get anything times itself is itself. So we'd get 0.07. Well, let's actually see what we do when we do multiply that. So 8 times 7 is 56, and everything else would be 0. So I can just write down my 56, and then I can count how many decimal places I have in my factors, or my numbers that I'm multiplying. Here there are 2 numbers after the decimal point, and here there is 1 number after the decimal point. So in my final answer, I should have 2 plus 1 will give me 3 places. Okay, let's see what happens when I do that. 1, 2, 3. My decimal point's over here. What can I add in here? Well, use a placeholder of 0. So 0.056. In other words, 56. This would be tens, hundreds, thousands. 56 thousandths. Okay, so 0.056 is close to the estimate of 0.07. If you're thinking about that as money, right, 2 spots, this is like 5 cents, and this is like 7 cents. So 5 cents is really close to 7 cents. So the answer is reasonable. Okay, let's try another one similar to that, and let's do letter C. It says 1.34 times 2.5. And again, we're just going to estimate to see if we're getting close to what we should be. If you estimate this to 1, estimate this to 3, 1 times 3 is 3. Okay, in other words, round each factor to the nearest whole number to make this estimating easy. And then multiply to see what we come up with. All right, so I've got 1.34 times 2.5. Notice I don't line up my decimal places, I line up my numbers because I'm multiplying like I would with whole numbers. So that's different from last section. 5 times 4 is 20, carry my 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. 5 times 1 is 5, plus 1 is 6. That's where they get this 670. Placeholder. 2 times 4 would give me 8. 2 times 3 would give me 6. And 2 times 1 would give me 2. That's where they get 26280. And then add these together. So 0. 7 plus 8 is 15. Carry my 1. 6 and 6 is 12. Plus 1 is 13. Plus 1 and 3. So I come up with, for my numbers, 3, 3, 5, 0. And now I need to think about decimal places. I have 2 numbers after the decimal point here and 1 number after the decimal point here for a total of 3 decimal places in my answer. So I'll move it 1, 2, 3. I now have 3 numbers after the decimal point. So 3.350 is close to the estimate of what we got in the beginning of 3. So yes, our answer is definitely reasonable. Okay, go ahead and flip the page to example 3 next. Here we're adding in a little bit of algebra. Okay, I see that I'm running down on time here, so I'm going to stop this video and continue in the next one for example 3. All right, welcome back here. We're going to pick up with example 3, and we have a little bit of algebra that we're going to be working on here. And there was a problem that was similar to this in your last homework assignment. I got quite a few questions about it, so I'm going to kind of go over this one thoroughly to make sure we understand. it says evaluate 5x. So remember, when those two terms are right next to each other, that implies multiplication. Okay, for each value of x. Well, for letter A, it tells us that x is equal to 3.062. So we need to substitute our value of x into our expression. So in other words, we need to take 5 times what we know x is, which is 3.062. Okay, 5 times 3.062. Remember, when it's next to parentheses, it also means multiply. Okay, we're substituting 3.062 into our expression, 5x, 4x. So we just need to multiply these two numbers. Okay, so I have 5 times 2, which is 10. I have 5 times 6, which is 30, plus 1 is 31, carrying my 3. 5 times 0 is 0, plus 3 is 3. And 5 times 15 times 3 gives me 15. Okay? And then in the end, I see that in my first factor, or in my first number that I multiplied, I had 1, 2, 3 decimal places. And in my second factor, 5, I didn't have any. So for a total of 3 plus 0 is 3. I need 3 decimal places in my final answer. 1, 2, 3. So I'll get 15.310. Right? Let's try that for letter B as well when we have another algebraic problem. It says x equals 4.79. And again, we're going to substitute what we know x is into our expression 5x. So in other words, we're taking 5 times 4.79. We're substituting 4.79 in for x. So we just need to multiply these two numbers. 9 times 5, 45, carry my 4. 5 times 7, 35, plus 4 is 39. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 3 is 23. So I get 2395, and then in the end, I count my decimal places. So my first factor, my first number being multiplied, I had 2. This is a whole number. I didn't have any decimal places. For a total, 2 plus 0 gives me 2 decimal places that I need in my final answer. 1, 2. So 23.95 for my total. All right. That'll do it for the examples for today. Please pause this video so you can now try the check it out problems on your own. Okay, I've been going around and checking out some students' work, and I'm just seeing answers. That means you're not pausing the video and showing your work and actually working it out. Remember, guys, the whole point of doing this is so that you understand how to do it. Your homework is only 30%. This note sheet isn't even graded, okay? So it would be to your benefit to work it out, show your work so you understand how to do it, so that when your test grade comes around, you really know how to do it, okay? So please pause the video and try it. All right, hopefully you took my advice and came up with the same answers that I did. For 1, I have 1.19 pounds, LB, or LBS is the abbreviation for pounds. For number 2, I came up with 12.540. And for number 3, I came up with 31.10. If you didn't get any of these answers, please come ask for help, or please ask your neighbor, or figure out how to do it the right way. Again, that's the most important thing. All right, that wraps up lesson 4 for us, multiplying decimals. If you need some more help on it, I'd be happy to help you. And I'll see you for the next section.